Let's get into it. So, hi everybody. I am Dr. Eric Lullove of Blue Ant Media and my own Substack. So, thank you for joining. I have the privilege today to have Shelby Campbell, who is 32 years of age. But what's really interesting about Shelby is that she is the Democratic candidate for Michigan 13. So, those of you that don't understand where Michigan 13 is, it is actually John Conyers' old congressional district. And so it covered pretty much from like East Detroit up through Hamtramck, kind of looping around the south side of the city and into the western parts of Southwest Detroit. So Shelby's got a big district here. She's
Mhm,
against a candidate, current incumbent, who's taken APAC money,
mhm.
who is kind of towing the line with leadership, trying to play the good old boys game. And but I thought, Walter Ryan interviewed Shelby last week, and I was on the interview, and I just thought she was just this amazing, like, just personality that needs to get her voice out. So we're going to give her more of a platform today. And
Thank
who better
you.
to do it with me, a former
Yeah.
Michigander, grew up in Farmington Hills. I grew up in Southfield, Farmington Hills. I worked for Detroit Fire. I
Oh,
ran Squad 1.
okay.
Oh, I got plenty of bullet hole trial. I got plenty of bullet hole stories for you. But
Yeah.
so we can talk about Verner's and Better Made. So she can't have this conversation with Walter. That's the funny thing. So
Yes,
people have
he
no
wouldn't
idea what a
know.
Boston cooler is. So,
Yeah.
okay, we can talk about Saunders and Better Made potato chips. We can talk Red Wings. We'll talk Detroit Tigers. We'll talk about the Pistons, who are just kicking ass this year. We'll talk about our Final Four matchup tonight with Michigan and UConn. So we'll give her a chance to weigh in and make her pick. But well, let me introduce Shelby for everybody so we can give her a background. So, like I said, Shelby's 32, former law school student, third generation UAW.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of with her campaign, it's really by the people for the people, is deeply rooted in labor rights and anti-capitalism and systemic reform. So, Shelby, welcome to Substack. And you just joined like in the last like 2.5, 3 weeks, right? So
Yeah, I mean, I had one, but I wasn't really active because I didn't know how it worked. But now I still don't know how it works. But here I am. I'm doing it. So it
you're
was
getting an
fun.
education, right? This is
Yes.
pretty
Yeah.
much how it works. It's you can post stuff, but I think the most organic stuff that people really are drawn to are the lives. Is seeing this one-on-one interaction. We have the chat open, so if anybody has any questions they want to ask Shelby of her 32 years of experience in this world about how she's going to change and dramatically change this congressional district in Detroit, then we can do that. But let me uh let me fire off an intro salvo at you, okay?
Okay. Okay.
So you've described yourself as this really proud third generation UAW member, right? And you used to work on the assembly line, right? We won't mention which manufacturer because it's not important. Okay. But so how does that lived experience in the way that you look at a federal, like a federal bill compared to a career politician? Like, how do you look at that? Like,
Um,
how do
I
you
can.
rationalize that?
Yeah, give you an example. So we were at this IBEW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, just get to know the candidates. And I was on stage and I looked at, because there was like 10 candidates, not just from my district, but I was like, you know what, guys? Like, no offense, but none of you know what it's like to work on the line and be forced to work 18 days in a row. I'm like, you've never experienced that. And you've never been angry, like trying to prove them wrong on the line, like this is illegal. No, it's not. It's fully legal, even with a contract, because we had a clause in there. There's always clauses, always loopholes, and
There's a
the
clause. Right.
yeah, regular people don't know. And now, like, that's where I first started like reading the law was my contract at work. But yeah, there was a clause in there that said that if we were in launch mode, they could work us as much as they wanted for 1 year. So we worked 48 hours a week. And then before Christmas, it was 18 days in a row. And I was like, there's no federal law that limits that. And I'm like, that is crazy. Because
Because that was
Michigan,
in the union contract. That's part of the negotiated contract.
yeah. So and the federal law, there's no federal law there that says you can't work people 18 days in a row. There's none. Just
As long
depends
as you
on the
have enough
state.
rest. As long
Yeah.
as they give you 8 hours of rest, they can work you as much as yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I'm originally from Illinois. I moved here like 6 years ago. So I have a background in that. So when I got here, I was really confused because I worked on the assembly line in Illinois too. So we never were forced to work 7 days in a row.
That's
Like,
great.
maybe they give you a Saturday off and then
And
Sunday if
I
you
did
really
that.
want
I
it.
did that in residency training when
Yeah.
I was also a resident. I don't have any rights
Yeah.
either. So when you're a resident, medical resident,
Mhm.
you have no rights.
Yeah, and it's sad that that's what they do to people, and it's crazy to think about, like, you guys are just tired and helping people that really need help, and, and you're it's just dangerous. It's just the
So how many
working.
mistakes by your I'm gonna say by your 5th day in a row, 6th day in a row, 7th day, by day 10, what's the mental fatigue like?
You are just you don't even know what a family's like. Like, I'm like, I hang out with these people at work more than I do my kids. So you're just exhausted. You don't want to do anything else. Like, I got really behind on laundry and everything. And if you don't have a partner at home that's good to like keep up, no, it just crumbles. And not to be like that, but when I don't have a wife at home, I had a man and he just wasn't very helpful to me. So we're not together anymore. But I had to do that because I was like, I am drowning here. I was like, I'm doing everything right. But yeah, that's a little off subject, but
Well,
it
not
matters.
really because those experiences, including the ones in your domestic private life, shape your choices as you get older,
Yes,
right?
no, that it
Gives you
definitely
perspective,
does.
you know?
Mhm.
And it's important to have, like, and I always like to tell this, like, you wanna have those traumatic relationship experiences because it gives you a broader sense of what everybody really goes through in their life. Because
Yes, yep.
you wind up with
Yes.
people to say, "I can relate to you as a divorced single mom. I can relate,"
Yeah.
you know? "I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
relate to what you're going through." And that personal connection is, I think, what draws people to you.
Yeah,
So
and, like, people sometimes I don't know, sometimes they're like, "PR, you need to calm down," but then I'm like, "Ugh, I don't." I know when I'm too much, and it's the week before my period, I'm not gonna lie, it's that luteal phase, I am ready, but I learned to use it to my advantage now and, like, I don't know, just figure out how to use my spite for, like, good and not bad. That's what my professor told me. She's like, "Your family sounds very resilient, but you need to dial it in on, like, helping yourself and not, like, trying to take people down." So that's what I do. I guess so I worked at Ichiban serving table. Do you know what Ichiban is?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, see, look at this.
So
Look at
Ichiban's a
that.
Japanese steakhouse chain in the Detroit metropolitan area.
Yes, so, I worked at the one in Sterling Heights, and don't get me wrong, it was like $800 a week. It was great. I stopped working on the assembly line, took a leave of absence, and I worked there, but I was like, I've never had to clean a toilet while serving tables. I'm like, "This is weird," because I was from Illinois, so then I started digging into the laws, and I'm like, "I don't know how to read this, but, like, I kind of do." Hi. Sorry, I'm just reading. Um, but I get distracted.
That's okay.
Um,
We're okay.
so
Keep going. We got this is your hour. However you wanna
I
run it,
know
just go.
I know, I forget what I was saying. I know, she just said 2 peas in a
You were
pod,
you
and
were
I
you
like when
were,
people are
um,
nice to me.
you were talking about never having to clean a toilet in a restaurant.
Oh, well, yeah, so I was
You
reading
start
these
researching it.
laws, and I was like, no, like, they're supposed to pay us minimum wage if we're cleaning a toilet because as a server, you're not allowed to do any work that is not serving the people. So, like, cleaning the bathroom is helping the establishment out. Yeah, cool, it's helping keep it cleanly and make them more money, but then again, look, that's literally helping the establishment. So you're not supposed to do anything like that. If you're side work, I don't know if you've ever worked in food, but whatever, the work you do, like cutting stuff up, that if that equals more than an hour, they have to pay you minimum wage.
Mhm.
So I pointed all this out, like, because everybody was complaining about it, and that's how it is. Everybody just likes to complain, 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 because we would work more, and then the chefs, I think they made probably minimum wage, and then people would tip them. So and they wouldn't give it to us. They wouldn't share, but our tips were automatically shared with them. So, like, everyone's raging, but like I said, $800 a week.
But that's the food
They
industry.
Yes,
That's
yes,
the
and
food industry.
when I was younger, like, my dad was like, "Shelby, they can't make you pay the tab when they walk out," and I was like, "It's fine, dad," you know? Now, oh, hell no. I'm like, "I'm old now. I'm not no way." When I was 19 I was
So
19, yeah.
so let me ask you, so hi, everybody, welcome again. So we're here with Shelby Campbell, who's a resident of Detroit, who is a Democratic candidate for the Michigan 13 district, which is, John Conyers' old district, my old stomping grounds in Michigan. Well, not really my old stomping grounds, but I'm familiar with it. So I wanna get more into So I don't want to get into the nuts and bolts of why you chose to run. We'll get into that in a second because I want to hit up some of the things. I want to get back to your law school thing. But I want to get so you've been meeting people in your district, okay?
Mhm,
You're doing a grassroots campaign, almost like door to door stuff, right?
mhm.
How has that been? How have people in the district been responsive to you with that?
Um, it depends on, like, the environment, like, some people like Shri, but then I'm like, "You should look into him a little bit." I'm like, "He takes money from Israel," but, other than that, they're pretty receptive. They're like, "Yeah, let's get young people in, we need new people." Like, I've had older women, like, take me in as, like, I'm their little daughter, and they just been, like, cheering me on and hyping me up. So one lady I met on TikTok is actually the reason that I decided to run because she, like, put the idea in my head. So,
So you went ahead and got all your signatures, right?
I need more, I need more.
You need more?
So, they're
How many
doing
more
a
do you need?
couple I think probably like 500 more, but
Okay.
that's what I'm gonna be working on for the next 3 weeks, so I already have like
So
500 and
just to kind of give everybody an idea of who she's running against. So Shri Thandier um, is currently so he's covering suburban communities in Wayne County, Michigan, which is like less, I think, is part of your district, I believe, right? Wayne, Michigan
Mhm,
is what else is down there? Taylor,
yeah,
right? So that's kind of like the what we call like the river area of Detroit. It was the downriver area. So it's not the largest, it's not the highest socioeconomic class area of the Metro Detroit community. Those are all going to be more in like North Oakland County and Macomb County and St. Clair County. But this area of metropolitan Detroit, this is the real blue collar area of the working blue collar force in Detroit. But the guy that she's running against is a chemist, graduated Michigan State, um, but has taken APAC money and has been heavily and this district was really heavily withdrawn 3 years ago. Um, to take to take less of the city of Detroit out of the district, to put in more, and this was done at the request of Governor Whitmer and the Congressional Democrats because they felt that Mike Rogers, as the previous governor, kind of screwed up the state and really siphoned off Detroit as a district. So,
mhm.
um, so anyway, so Shri sits on the Homeland Security and Small Business Committee, but I have not heard him ever really question this administration on a lot of the stuff that's been going on. And
You
he's
can
not
help me by getting my name out there and getting the signatures.
right.
I don't really wanna take money because, like, I need it obviously to, like, get my name out there to compete with Shri, the millionaire. So,
Yeah, and he's got money. I mean, he's been in Congress for since 2023. So he's been building up a war chest, you know. And the problem is that unfortunately for him, that the leadership really loves him. And the current leadership basically is they're looking at him at like some darling candidate, but he's no better than the current people there
well,
because he's taking
yeah,
money people
blue
that
and red are now that I'm in this, it's the same. Like, you were watching me with Walter, like, the working families party. Like you said, this area is working class. It's literally the automotive, like, I didn't realize how, like, much the automotive industry is here until I got here because
oh
I
yeah.
just lived in my own little world in Illinois. So, um, but yeah, man, I forget what I was saying. That he just he preys on the people. He just pretends to be nice, like, tells them the keywords that they wanna hear. Like, I was standing outside of one of his town hall meetings, and I was holding up a sign, like, Shelby Soup, Michigan 13, blah, 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 vote for me, and I wrote that, like, Shree's a fraud on it, but he was just saying, like, "Oh, impeach Donald Trump." Like, that's all he kept saying when they were like, "Why aren't you being more active against this illegal war?" And he's just impeached Trump, and I go, "He's taking money from Israel," and then I just walked out because I can be cool, calm, and collected and, like, a little bit crazy, and, like, I know how to, like, regulate it now. I don't let
So
my
this is an
emotions
open
take over.
invitation for anybody from Congressman Friedendar's district, anybody on his staff. You are welcome to come on here and have the same airtime that I'm giving Shelby. I'm totally open to having these equal opportunity environments, and I will give you the same hour that I'm giving Shelby because she's putting herself out there. So here's a quote that's off of your campaign. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. So you've mentioned that you mentioned this with Walter. You actually said this in the last week, that you said that the American dream has been sold as success, but it's just capitalism.
Mhm.
Okay. Right? Elaborate on when you first realized that the system wasn't working for people in your community.
Um, I just one eye-opening moment was when I was about to finish my undergrad degree and I was taking like the history of Detroit or the urbanization. I can't remember exactly what it was. I was taking like 9 credit hours in the summer trying to grind through, but it really got me when I analyze the zoning and the property laws, how we all live in the suburbs and the property value isn't that much. And the cities, there's not a lot of like regular people who own the property. So when I started looking at the American dream, cool, you have the white picket fence house, the big house, the dogs. I had all of that. I had an in ground pool, the car. So when I really realized that it was just a scam to get us to keep working and like just focus on like that American dream, like that's when I was like, wow, okay, this was cool after the Industrial Revolution, of course. But we figured it out. Like we have mass production and in class, they're just so out of touch because they've never worked on the line. I'm like, why do we need to make 600 cars a day and or one shift? Just one shift. There's like, used to be 3 shifts a week. At some plants, I don't know. I've been out of the loop for a little bit, but yeah. So and that's every shift. That's like what? It's 1,800 cars a day at
Right.
one factory. So and then I analyze that, and I'm like, oh, people crash their cars, insurance, da da da. And it's just this. It's every single system, and they've just continued to grow it. And then another, when I was in tax law, I'm like, because now that I know how to analyze the law and the cases, I see that there's a reason for every law, and it's literally that like petty, in my opinion. It seemed like Walter, I cannot get this nail off still. I don't know if you were there for that. It won't come off. It's holding on. But yeah, every single system is just, oh, the tax bros. That's what I say. That's what I said when I learned it. They're just sitting in a room trying to figure out how they can continue to make the most money. And my professor, I loved her. She was so, I think her name was Alumba, Miss Alumba. But she was just like talking about Mitt Romney and how Mitt Romney knows he will never have to pay more than like a 12% tax on,
Investment.
yeah, so because they dump all their money into housing. And I'm like, property, oh, that makes so much sense. So then like the founding fathers, like, cool, yeah, they got to own property, but no, because then when the court system evolved, the Native Americans tried to sue us back for the property, and we're like, nope, that doesn't matter. Screw our law. That law didn't matter then, but it matters for us to hold the property now. It's just all a joke from the root of it, and lawyers are gatekeeping it, and it makes me so angry
Mm.
because they know if they were radical enough, we could change the world. But they're just like, oh, let me go work for corporate America. It makes
Well,
me
they
mad.
follow the money, right?
Yeah, and that because you're just pushed. American
So
dream, big
that's a
house.
great segue because I want to talk about economic justice because this is a really big part of why you're running, right? Like it's this
Mhm,
whole, and that's kind of where we are today as a country, right? Where there's this 99.9% against the 0.1%, right? We're
mhm,
not even talking about the 1%, which it was when Romney ran for president, you know, 12 years ago, right? We're
mhm.
talking, this is we're talking like the 0.1%, right?
Yeah,
So
I was doing some research. I can talk about economic in Detroit 'cause since it's like the
yeah,
Ambassador Bridge. My friend, he just kind of had me going down the rabbit hole with I think they're called
you
the
mean you
Maroon
mean the part of the bridge that the Canadians basically repaired because the owner of the bridge
Maroon
basically refused
family.
to repair it? Yeah.
Yes, no, and it's because of the not interstate commerce, but federal commerce
Mhm.
clause in like that they've argued that if it impacts commerce, then just ignore it. So
Right.
yeah, it's still like the only privately owned bridge. So he told me not to go down this rabbit hole, and I started going down it because it's crazy. The Maroon family, they owned
Mhm.
so much, and they're like buying all the property around the Ambassador Bridge. Yeah, guys, this is the bridge that goes from Detroit to Canada. I didn't know this unless until I moved here. I didn't realize
The
how
oldest
close it.
suspension bridge in the world.
It's like it was built in like 1920. But yeah, they've been fighting. The Maroon family has been fighting the city to not allow them to build another bridge so that they could just hoard all of it. It's a monopoly. And I was looking with him at
which
the
they
laws.
renamed,
Yeah.
by the way. It's renamed as the Gordie Howe Ambassador Bridge.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes. So
You
they're
can't be a
building.
Detroiter and not know hockey. I'm sorry. It doesn't.
Um, I'm sorry. I
You're in
liked
hockey town, honey.
the
You gotta own
Blackhawks.
it. You
I
gotta
was
own
told
it.
to like the Blackhawks, and I used to go to hockey games, the Rockford Ice Hogs.
You gotta
My
get you a
dad.
winged wheel. You need a winged wheel. So just a couple things. Now that you're in Detroit, okay, there's a couple rules. Okay.
Okay.
It's always about the Red Wings, always about the Lions and the mediocrity. You just get used to it. Okay. It's you either have to be for Michigan or Michigan State. You can be happy for both, but you gotta be for one.
Okay.
Okay. But because you're from Illinois, you probably have a pass. So you didn't grow up in a divided like I did. Okay. Um, like, well, like my dad and I both went to Michigan. My sister and my mom went to Michigan. So it's both went to Michigan State. So we were truly a house divided, kind of like this Substack screen here. Like this line right here, do not cross. Right.
Yes.
So, but so, but it's hockey season. Okay, we're getting to the tail end. The Wings are possibly fighting for a wild card. You need to know this. You need to know this cold on the campaign trail. You need to know where the Pistons are seated. You need to know that Michigan's playing for the national title. Michigan's playing for the national title tonight, men's
Right.
basketball.
I knew that. No,
You
I
know all
didn't.
this, right? Okay,
I know. See, I don't play
not enough just to
politics.
know O's ice cream and better made potato chips, and it's not Giordano's pizza.
Yes.
There's Detroit pizza.
Oh, well, yeah, Giordano's isn't even that good. I don't
No,
like it that much.
it's funny.
John's on 11th Street in Rockford, Illinois.
Yep.
Shout them out. That's where I worked serving tables for like 9 years, and
But
their
it's always
pizza's
about
so good.
it's buddy. It's about buddies.
Yes, Buddies is yes.
I'm trying to help get voters here. This is not helping you right now.
Well, look, I'm just an honest person. It should get voters because I'm able to tell you that it's okay. It's
So
just
that's why I wanted to talk about. That's why I wanted to bring up the economic because you talked about the corporate land grab, which is what the Maroney family has been doing around the bridge. So, so let me ask you a question: what federal legislation would you support to prevent that from happening? Like, what would that look like from a
that bridge just shouldn't be privately owned. I wanted to kind of look into how
it
other
should be
countries.
nationalized?
Yeah, I feel like how do other countries do it? Because what he was telling me is there's like not a lot of privately owned bridges in the
No.
world. So they're just capitalizing off of it and they're buying up everything and it's disgusting. I don't want corporations. I don't want corporations to be people. And if they are people and if they get in trouble, here we go. This is my legislation. I want them to be shut down. We do not need like I was saying the Industrial Revolution. We know how to survive now. We can communicate, we can talk. So just actually punishing them. I don't want punitive damages where they just get fined. Cool, it's the monopoly money to them. They don't care. So shut them down. Like Campbell's soup for saying the illegal or the poor people only eat that. Like obviously that's not a violation, but it's just
No, it's
rude. And they know that their stuff is bad. They know it's bad and they're contaminating waters in Ohio. They know what they are doing and they just get away with it because it's the bros club, like you said. It's just rich people like Shree, just a rich guy.
so. But more importantly, like, what does that legislation look like if you have to draft the bill? I mean, if elected to Congress, you're going to have to draft legislation.
Yeah, so I know that I don't know exactly like the statutes and stuff like that, but I know how to analyze statutes
Right?
and legislation and read all of it. You have to like parse
Well,
it
that's
up.
more
You
than
have
99% of the congressmen anyway. So there you go.
exactly. So like there's
Congress do vote.
factors. Yeah, factors and then elements. And factors are just things you consider when like looking into something, and elements are necessary. So like we'll use first degree murder. First degree murder, it has to be premeditated, and then you have to kill somebody. Like those are elements, and then a factor is like I don't trying to think. It's just taken into consideration. I'm not a law teacher. I can
So
talk
I'm
about
I'm
it.
just thinking about like all the bridges that I'm familiar with, right? So I've been on the Ambassador Bridge. I've been in the tunnel. I've been on the 7 Mile Bridge that connects Florida to Key West, right? And all the bridges around Manhattan. So this is the only bridge that connects the United States to another country. outside of the one in Niagara Falls and Buffalo, New York, and, those
Mhm.
the ones that connect over the Great Lakes and the Niagara Falls Bridge, and then we've got bridges that connect between states, like, like the Hoover Dam, right? So and there's the one that goes from Ohio to Kentucky over the Ohio River, right? But those are not but those are on federal interstates. So
Mhm.
the states get the money from the government to maintain those. But this is a difference, the city of New York, they charge you $24 to go on the bridges just to get from Manhattan to the suburbs and Staten Island or whatever. But so the city's getting that money to maintain the bridges. But this is the only bridge that legitimately connects one country to another.
Yeah, they monopolize it.
Oh,
It's insane. And then when they're buying the property around it, it's so that they can like avoid
they buy the property, they
inspection.
buy the homes.
I don't know. It's a lot. They own a lot of stuff.
Mm.
I was looking at it and it's crazy. They're
So
just so rich.
did you do any research on how the Maroney family got their money?
No, I didn't get down to that part. Do
Okay.
you know how? Do you know how? You not want to talk about
It's
them?
been a
'Cause
long time since I've been in
oh,
Michigan, so I haven't done that research yet.
no, they're prestigious and buy
Yeah.
people off because that's what it is. Like I said, and they violate things all the time. They don't fix it, and they don't care. And they're just like, we're not going to do it. What are you going to do? It's protected under the Commerce Clause, and I hate that. And I hate that people can be bought off because it's just money. Money is just the root of all evil. And I know I sound like whatever, a communist socialist, but yeah, it's the only reason that the
Well, it's
Chinese
progressive. It's not socialist. And listen, that's a whole nother conversation, okay? But it's not communist to think that money is the root of all evil because but I think, there's an old rule, there's 3 types of people who have money, okay? The first type are the people that you wanna know. Those are the ones that are very philanthropic, and they give their money away, and they just give it away. Then there's the second type where they're just a little bit selfish. They'll do a little bit of philanthropy, but they'll mostly spend it on themselves, and they're just selfish with their money, right? The third people are the worst ones to know, and they're the ones that hurt others with their money. Legal action, lawsuits, you know, funding shit like Palantir, doing shit like, doing the things that hurt individuals, funding nonprofits that do things to hurt immigration or women's rights, individuality rights, just things that just don't make sense, right? But so that's what I kind of want to go with. The next question is this profit over people, right?
Mhm.
How do you how do you propose as a Democratic candidate in Congress? Okay, you get elected, you're the congressperson elect, right? Representing that district. How do you keep major industry there? Because remember, the most of the metropolitan Detroit industry is tied to the auto industry.
Mhm. Oh,
You keep
um,
How do you keep the companies that make the seat liner for Ford and Stellantis and
so,
or the
yes.
company that makes the rearview mirror, the glass and the
Nobody wants to
housing?
work. So, like, nobody wants to do those jobs. So, I think Walter Reuther, instead of focusing or allowing them to do automation, they went all over the country. So it kind of broke up the union and made it weaker. But he should have focused on automation and making sure that people were getting paid. So that's how I feel. We can like start going into a society where we don't have to go to work that much and they can just distribute the profit. We get profit sharing at like, Stellantis, Ford, GM. I think every corporation should do that. Like that should just be mandatory. If you're going to have people working for you and making things, uh, give them a car, make like, or just fund public transportation. We could be living so much better if we just invested in community and these corporations, aka people, corrupt, awful, whatever people, they don't want to do it because they just like to have their families with the money. And people don't analyze it because they don't have the time.
So how do you balance that because it's really what you're talking about is anti-capitalism.
Hmm.
How do you balance that with the people in the district that need to work, that
I'll say,
need
do you like working? I'll say, don't you let's get this so that you don't have to work all the time. I think you think you like to work, but that's just because you've been trained to do so since a kid. So
well,
changing the education system as well, like,
okay, so
you know,
now you're talking about really concrete changes. I mean,
mhm,
this is gonna be a generational change. But
yes.
is that doable as one of 435 other people in a body that has a 21% approval rating, okay, with the type of money and stuff that gets thrown around in DC? Like, how do you not get caught up in that? How are you gonna stay true to yourself and not get caught up in what we
I
call
have
shit?
a federal lawsuit right now to get money out of politics, so I'm already doing it. I have to stay on the ballot right now just for this lawsuit.
Yeah,
Like, yes, I wanna win, of course, because I think I have great ideas, but as a woman, I have to stay on the ballot so I can get money out of politics. I have to have standing in the court case. So if I'm not still a candidate, I can't sue. But other women could do this, and I really want them to join me, the women that are running for Congress. So basically, in 1976, they deemed money equal to freedom of speech. And then Citizens United came along, where they said no, they can spend an unlimited amount of expenditures on campaign advertising as long as they have a disclaimer. So
right,
that's just corporations literally picking who they want.
right.
So what I did is I am trying to deem it unconstitutional under the Equal Protection Clause, and I can't remember if it was the First or 14th Amendment. Just don't mind me. I've talked. There's just so many laws, and but it's on Pacer if you know how to look up court cases. It's in the Eastern District of Michigan, but it's never been done because women have been held out of things. I was like, 1974 is when women could have a bank account. How the hell are you going to equate
Couldn't pump gas
money?
either,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
or have a credit card.
yes. So, and then not until 1988, women couldn't have a business loan, or they just had to have a man's permission. That was like 5 years before I was born. I'm like, that is not that long ago. That's
No,
disgusting. So, I'm trying to do that now. I think it's horrible. I sold my 4-bedroom, 4-bath house, big in-ground pool, moved to Cadillac Square. The most gross, it was, hey, I had to take what I could get, but I left and I went to that life and I'm happier now. So, we just have to I don't care about money. I know obviously I do, like, I like when I get money, but it's not, like, my main priority. I want to work to live, not live to work, and that's my philosophy. So
I like it.
that yes,
That's what I do.
exactly.
I work to I work I don't work to live anymore.
Yeah,
I've thankfully, I've been doing this long enough that I can afford I still need to work, but
yeah,
my work has changed. I'm working smarter, not harder. And I think what you're basically saying is that we need to make the money that we have in the economy work smarter for the American people.
mhm,
And the American people shouldn't have to work harder for the money that they not only earned and they're spending, because that's what we're doing right now. People are just it's hard. It's hard right now. It's the hard is where we're at right now, where
mhm.
families are getting squeezed. I mean, I happened to go into the store yesterday. We're talking about this affordability issue, right? I mean, just to get skirt steak today, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. There's no reason why skirt steak should be $26 a pound.
I don't eat meat anymore, but I used to, like arancetta, and I
Yeah,
feel like arancetta and skirt steak are like the same thing. I can't remember, but yeah, that's insane.
yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
I save so much money by not eating meat, just so you know. You guys should try it. It's better for the environment too. E- Every time somebody says something to me about AI, I'm just like, okay, I get it, but I don't eat meat, so it kind of like it helps my carbon footprint because eating meat is worse for the
So are you
environment.
completely plant-based?
No, I need
No.
cheese. I love cheese.
Alright, so
I
you're okay.
I say I'm a cheese slut, and that's I will die without cheese. I'm so addicted. It's been my food forever. I don't know why, but I used to eat
So,
like a
okay.
little yeah.
So what's your favorite cheese now? Now you opened up the door. What's your favorite cheese?
Um, it just depends. This morning I made like this huge kind of like platter, and I had Gouda's pretty good. Swiss is see, I love them all. Swiss. I just can eat pieces of cheese. Ugh. Blue cheese on
So,
salad's good
knowing that
too.
your campaign's gonna run on money, so you don't want cheese donations.
No. Give me some cheddar, yeah.
Right. So for everybody that's joining in, I'm with Shelly Campbell. She is the Democratic candidate for Michigan 13, Southwest Detroit and Detroit suburbs. So we're just having a little fun conversation, getting her out there a little bit more. She was first on with Walter Ryan last week. I've got her on this week. So she just needs more support, everybody. If you're in Michigan, you have friends or family or relatives or people you know, get them to understand what Shelby's all about. Um, she's she's a little firebrand. She's got a little pistol with her. She reminds me of like another Shane Yurak, actually. She's there, but she's, single mom, former UAW worker, former law student. So let's get into the law school stuff. So what happened with law school? Why you kind of got it, Walter? I caught the tail end of it, but I wanna
So basically, immediately upon going there what?
if you're comfortable talking about
Oh, no, I am, trust me. It was a crazy time last year. It was April 2nd of 2025 that I got kicked out. So, I started in August of 2023. The first red flag was we couldn't use our, financial aid funds for our textbooks, and I was like, "Oh, maybe this is just how graduate school is. I don't know. Nobody in my family's been to school." So,
so what
first red
law
flag.
school was this? Do you mind if you can?
Detroit Mercy School of Law. I mean, I'm
Okay,
not
oh, it's
supposed to
Mercy.
say. Yeah, I'm not supposed to say, but I don't care. What Sarah Nierenberg is my op. That's what I say. She's a lawyer from Butzel Law. We fight. We I do not like her. She was on my case with Ichiban as well. So I felt
Okay.
like it was a yeah, so we got legal beef before I even have a JD. It's kind of fun to have a nemesis. But so it was just red flags. It was just wasn't a good time and they seemed like they cared more about image than the truth. Sorry, somebody just keeps texting
Well,
me.
just remember that, Mercy's a big so for those of you that don't understand what Detroit Mercy is a massive Jesuit institution in metropolitan Detroit. There's they have a high school, they have college, four-year university college, there's a professional, they have law school, nursing school,
Dental,
a dental school, business
maybe.
school. I mean, they've gotten huge, but it's Jesuit based, which is there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they've just been that way their whole career. But it
Mhm.
started off as the Mercy Church. It was a church, and then they got into the educational component. So that's how they started drawing in federal money. And so it's University of Detroit Mercy is pretty much the name of the institution. So there you go.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like one of the best Catholic or whatever
Jesuit.
university, yeah, Jesuit in the in the universe. Oh my gosh, in the
Big Catholics still hate them. So there you go.
But okay, so it was just a bad experience. Then it is not a great school. Sorry. Yes, quite the monopoly. It is not. So basically, it was just awful just going just immediately upon there. And then I just wanted to get the hell out because they just didn't seem to listen to the students. They cared more about image, as I said. And I was like, I failed a course. I failed constitutional law, and they gave me a grade of a 1.5 in the course. And it was 60% was, I think, the final exam, and 40% was the quizzes. And I didn't do any of the quizzes on accident. And I emailed him the last day. I was like, oh my God, I thought that they were due this day. Can I redo them? And he said, I can't open them back up. No problem. Like, I wasn't mad. So I took the final and I got a 1.5 in the class and I was doing the math and I was like, that it means I got like an A plus. I'm like, that is crazy. So how are they going to fail me? Like, come on, please let me do the quizzes, you know? They wouldn't show me how they calculated my grades because I was like, this math ain't mathin'. So I appealed it and like it went all the way up to the dean. He responded a day late. Like he turned it in, he sent it to me a day after it should have been due to like or turned into me or just like submitted to me. And I was like, wow, the irony. You can turn something in a day late, but I notice and you guys don't let me do it over again. So they just wouldn't give me my like information, my FOIA, like I FERPA'd them right, like my school. I don't know if you guys know what FERPA is. So yeah, it was horrible. And I kind of started like making fun of them online because they were harassing me and trying to get me with like a student conduct violation for my behavior on TikTok. It was crazy. There was people on there commenting, calling me trashy, calling me names, and I'm like, so I'm in trouble when they're the ones calling me names. So they sent me this whole like student conduct violation, and I got on TikTok and I went into all of my TikToks that I mentioned Detroit Mercy and I went and transcribed them all. And I was like, oh no, you are not going to say that I said something that I did not. I posted my like draft, like I read it out loud on TikTok. Then a few days later, I just felt like they were going to kick me out. So I went to my professional responsibility teacher after class and I was like, I just want to tell you this. I was like, you're a professional responsibility teacher. I think they're going to kick me out. Like they're stealing money because I started really looking. Because when you fail a course, you're supposed to like redo your financial aid, like appeal it. I never had to do that, and I failed the course. So I'm just like, this is not. I know. So then,
Wow. Okay.
ra-
That opened up a whole other hornet's nest,
so
right?
rabbit hole. Yes, I went down the rabbit hole. So that
Huh.
was before. So then the next day, I go to school. I do my trial practice class, and I was partners with some dude from Canada. Sorry, I was a bad partner, but we killed it because we won. So we won our trial. I killed it in the courtroom. It was so much fun. Like, we were cross-examining like somebody, and he was a doctor, and he was saying how he gave um a patient Xanax who was suing for like emotional distress. And I was like, is it normal for you to give a patient Xanax the first time they ever come to see you and then they never see you again? And he was like, and I was like, boom, got him. So then we won. So like I'm good at what I do. It's growing up in a trauma filled family. I had to fight for myself. So like I said, I went into professional responsibilities office, then trial practice. I won. I go home. I get an email at 5:15 saying I am kicked out. My complaint, the student conduct violation is dismissed after I posted my response that defending myself. And yeah, I was kicked out due to my mental health. I needed to get a mental health evaluation before coming back. And I was just sitting there at my computer like,
What?
did a law school really just do yeah. It
Well,
was
they're also private,
yes, but they take
so
federal funds, like you said, so they have to abide, and there
mm.
was no due process. They were like, "We showed our people your TikToks." What? That's a character. Like, I just
What do you mean your people?
like, they were
What
they're
people?
they're people, at the school, kinda social worker type thing, so I reported everybody. I reported them, I reported the school to a bunch of agencies, actually, before I got kicked out, so it was clear retaliation, and they knew that. They got the complaints before I got kicked out, so it's been a very rough time, but I got a lawyer, and he was awful, and it just really skewed my perspective of the legal industry that I was, like,
You
holding up
said
right
he
here.
was awful?
Oh, yeah, he's got a attorney grievance complaint against him too. They found merit because what he did to me, he took my 11 grand, which cool. He got me a worse deal than I had before, and they were like, "If you don't accept this, we're dropping from your case." And I was like, "What did I learn in law school?" I was like, "I got told to not accept the first offer ever, and you guys are gonna drop me?" So then I was, like, crying on the phone, and I was
No,
like, "I
he
don't
stole
like."
your money.
Yeah, I was like, "I don't like lying." I was like, "I hate lying. I don't wanna say."
That's bad faith and fair dealing. That's and
Yes.
yeah.
And they just shamed me, so they thought that I was gonna go away. Oh, no. Oh, no, I went down. Yeah, I went outside and protested, during finals, they were so mad. And then the attorney was like the one guy that was working on my case, he's like, "I have never had somebody try to settle so fast." So I think the other attorney, like the one who was the boss of the guy that was talking to me, I think he got mad because he said that because he was being honest. But it's because I'm honest. Like he was like, "You are my favorite client. You are just." He's like, "I don't even have to ask you if there's anything else. I know you told me all the dirty details." I'm like, "Yeah." So then he quit or something. And then this other guy, his name is Tim Markley, got on my case. So this is from April till June of last year.
Okay.
So Tim Markley got on my case in May. Then we settled in June. Didn't want the settlement. Tim actually passed away before my settlement like was over,
Mm.
but they did not disclose that to me. I found out because I looked like on their their website months later, and it was like RIP, and it was like June 20th or June 19th, 2025. And I was like, I didn't even sign my settlement until like June 24th. They called me and like told me to sign it, and didn't disclose that the main person that had been working on my case died. I was like, this is a movie. I'm like, this is insane. But basically, their Detroit Mercy was preying on first generation students. Bill Kraus was the financial aid advisor there, and he worked at Mary's Grove before they shut down and the financial aid glitches.
Sounds like a pattern.
Yeah, and he worked at the bank that Obama and what was his name? Andrew Cuomo from New York. He worked at a bank that it got investigated by the Obama administration because they were doing a bunch of bad stuff with financial aid. And he worked at Eastern Michigan University, where this guy Eric Jackson, he lives in Panama now. He sued Eastern Michigan University for hiding funds because the Board of Regents, that is based on a racist thing. They literally changed school like funding and how it worked to the Board of Regents
Hmm.
in 1965. I'm like, what happened in 1964? And I was like, oh, this
Right
is
in Detroit.
crazy.
Yeah.
So it was a rabbit hole, and it was like I looked crazy. Like I can't lie, but I was like, I know, but I'm not sitting here like, oh, they're so evil. I was just like, guys, listen, like look at your bills, and nobody would. But that's how it was at Ichiban too. They all abandoned me, but it's okay. I got $42,000 from that, and they got a federal labor charge. So we're waiting. We're waiting for justice with Detroit Mercy. It'll happen. You
It'll
just
come.
gotta be
It'll
patient
come.
and gotta do it the right way. And that's what I mean, like despite. That's what my teacher said. Do it the right way.
So,
Sorry, yeah,
okay.
it's
That was
crazy.
that was so I didn't know that part of the story. That was amazing. That was yeah, so good for you.
Yeah.
Here's my next question for you. I'm gonna let you take a break. Take a deep breath. So
Yes, you can
one of
talk.
my
Sure.
friends is online, Ashley. She's a phenomenal investigative, like kind of like citizen journalist. So if you ever need any help, she's
Okay, yes.
she's a digger.
I've sent it to everyone, but I think they're bought off around here
No, I
because
think
they're
everybody's really busy. You
no,
know,
but they've like reached out to me when Campbell Soup tried to sue me. So
that
I
was my
emailed.
so what happened with Campbell Soup?
Basically, it was August last year. I made one batch on this damn nail. I hate one batch of stickers. And do I have one on my computer? Oh, I do. Can I turn this around?
Yeah.
Cool. There we go. So that was it. All right. Oh, and then I did that because I said he pissed me off, so I ran for Congress. So I made those stickers, and I argued a trademark like infringement thing for one of my like oral arguments that I had. So I knew how to argue it as like a parody or something. So I was like, you know what, they can try, but there is enough of this where it could be deemed a parody, and I'm not making any money on it. So they sent me a cease and desist. So I was like, all right, I got the little attention I wanted. So I said, um, I'm not making them anymore. Like you can try to sue me, go for it. So they left me alone because I wasn't making any more, and it's not worth it. When I didn't seem scared. So then I got doxxed because of Charlie Kirk, because I made a dark joke and I said, it wasn't even that bad. And it was just me, myself, and I at my kitchen table at like 5 in the morning. And I think I just say the worst, the raunchiest stuff when I wake up. I don't know why, but I was like, hey guys, how do you like it that we got our guy back and you can't get yours? But I said MAGA. So they
Okay, that's
knew,
a little
oh, it
yeah.
was bad, but it was before I was, like, really out there, and it went to Australia, like, I was on the news in Australia. So, um she's looking.
You
Um,
get I think it's Maroone.
I think it's Maroun. Yeah,
OUN.
I think. I don't
OUN.
know. I was struggling trying to find it
OUN.
too. They're very I think they're very low key because obviously they do their
Yeah, a
thing.
lot of private holdings with them. Everything
Mhm.
it's all family, private owned, no public corporations. It's yeah.
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 So when I got doxxed, they were all emailing Campbell Soup. Oh, you guys support this, blah, blah, blah. And they knew I hadn't made any more, but they had to show their guns. They're like, oh, we can't let this. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. So
Yeah, to Jeffrey,
we
don't call it the Ambassador Bridge. We refer to it as the Gordie Howe. Bridge.
Sorry, how.
It's the Gordie Howe Ambassador Bridge. That's the one that Trump had a whole shit fit over a few months ago, and then
Mhm.
actually a cartoon of that, by the way, which I'll share because it's hysterical. Um, I actually found a cartoon of it. This might have actually gone in the Detroit Free Press. I have to find it because it's just freaking hysterical. It's just let me find it. Let's see here. Here we go. No, not that one. It's coming.
But basically, they left me alone because we were going to court, and the judge was like, "She's not making any more stickers. Get out of my courtroom." Fact check. He shit. Oh my god.
So everybody, if you're not sure, this is Gordie Howe, Detroit legend, NHL Hall of Fame. So when you grew up going to Gordie Howe camps like I did, you learned how to hit. So if you went into the corner with somebody, you were the only one that was supposed to be standing.
My brother played hockey.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember cheering when he was like 16 and he like somebody and it was only me and my friend cheering. I'm like, oh, this isn't professional. I need to calm down.
So yes, we're getting into the last 10 minutes here. So I want to just kind of we touched on a lot of your stuff. So let's talk more about the campaign, the platform. You said you needed 500 more signatures. So what's the due date that you have to have your signatures by?
April 21st. So I think now that they're doing the food trucks at Cadillac Square, I'm going to go down there starting tomorrow from like 11 to 3 and just try to get people. And then I think on 420, they have like there's lines at the dispensaries here. So I think on that day, I'm obviously going to go out more than that, but I'm going to pow out. But they're due 421. So I
Okay.
think I'll just go get some extras then. Yeah. I got people helping me. Like I said, Maria, she kind of encouraged me to run. She's like, "You remind me of Jasmine Crockett. You should do this." And I was like, "I'm not gonna do this." And then, I was like, I said, "You know what? I took on Detroit Mercy, and now I need something else because I was supposed to graduate last November, but all right, I can go back into it." So basically, I just want to focus on community, like we were talking about, like kind of anti-capitalism, but just getting back to simplicity where we're not living to work, we're working to live, like enjoying it, because
So
that's what got lost.
I want to talk about the really uncomfortable part of your district.
Mhm,
Okay? So your district is like 45% Caucasian,
mhm,
38% Black African American.
mhm.
How are you going to be able to relate to 40% of your district where your life experiences do not mirror those?
Um, so I saw this thing when they were analyzing Eminem and Tupac. So just hear me out. Tupac always talked highly of his mother, even though she was like a crackhead or whatever he would say in his song. Eminem would degrade his mom. And I think when I heard that, it really sat with me because it said that white people were raised to think that they were going to have like a nice, loving, happy life. And then like people of color were like taught that that was their life. So it just showed with how they both talk about their mothers, actually. But so I've worked on the line like a lot of people have. I guess I've been to jail, and a lot of Detroiters have been to jail. I know what it's like to not have anybody and people judge you looking at you, not because of the color of my skin, but because I'm white. Or not white, because I'm a woman. Sorry. Because I'm a woman. Like, we don't have the same rights as people of color and or as men and people of color. Like we can understand one another in a different way than a white man can with a person of color. It doesn't matter. Like we have been oppressed together by the white man. So we have to not like let the line be
Not
drawn.
not
And
this way. Just to be very clear, just not this one. Okay.
yes, I know. My dad's the same. He would, yeah, he's always because like I grew up in a really racist area and I didn't realize it. And I can like come to terms with that. And I say that I went to college and it humbled me. Like I was like, wow, things were not that long ago. And like I said, with the women and having the being able to have a business loan. So that's how it's not, of course, like not a person of color, but I'm a woman. And they're literally trying to take our rights away right now. And they are taking our rights away, like with the SAVE Act. I actually talked to a woman, and talking to people like from different backgrounds and like learning things that we didn't learn growing up has really helped. She said that her grandmother was born before, like during Jim Crow era, and they would write when they were born in the Bible. So they didn't have birth certificates. So she's like, how is my 90-year-old grandma
Right.
gonna be?
They were born with midwives, and there was no record keeping because they weren't allowed to go to the hospitals.
Yes. And you don't learn that. And especially if you don't like admit that you grew up in like a racist area. Like I had to decompress and all of that. And that's why like I don't talk to half of my family because they're Debbie Sue, Betty Joe, white trash. Like it's hard, but that's why I don't go home. I like to be, yeah.
I think a lot of your power comes from you ask a lot of questions. You ask a lot of questions of people to understand where they're at. And I think that's one of the skill sets that has drawn you into this world that you're living in now. You were very sheltered growing up. You grew up, like you said, in a racist community in Illinois.
Mhm.
And was it Southern Illinois?
No, it was Rockford, Illinois, but it's just Winnebago County. Yeah.
Winnebago County, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Hananiga Indians was my school. And then they just put a Turning Point USA there. I was so pissed. I was going to go protest. And I was like, what is
So,
wrong with you guys?
yeah, it's just, so I think a lot of where you're coming from is very well rooted in your background and what you've learned in the last 10 years. I think
Yes.
I think a lot of you've reinvented yourself as an individual,
I
but
did
more
that.
you've reinvented yourself as a young Gen Y, millennial woman,
Hmm.
that you're speaking out and you're understanding the way the system works, and you're kind of forging a path forward. I mean, I think you have a bright future whether you're in this election or not. And if you do get through and you get the signatures, I hope you kick the shit out of shit. I hope you kick the shit out of him. But
Me too. We're having a debate on May 7th.
oh,
So,
fantastic. And like we'll all be rooting for you here on Substack. You just do your thing. You just be Shelby, and I think you'll
well, thank you, you guys. Yeah.
just be Shelby. So, I think the real thing is you've said on previous stuff, you even said it with Walter, was that you don't let your past define who you are. My life that way. I have never let my past define me. I've let it I've let my past educate me who I need to be. But my definition of who I am is the decisions I make today and how I learn from those mistakes moving forward, and which is the way we all need to learn because our current leadership doesn't know shit.
No, they
So,
just push it down and bury it.
what you want to do if elected, let's just say you get through the primary, right? And you're on the general, right? You get elected, you're the Congresswoman elect, 13th district, Michigan. What's the one tangible thing in that district that you want to feel differently that you want them to feel differently about January 21, 2026, 2027, that you can bring that you can help your district immediately? What's the one tangible thing that you can sit there and say, I'm doing this day one to help my district?
Mm. Probably the public transportation because 66% of Detroiters, I think, don't have a car.
So that's a
Don't
state
drive.
issue. That's a local issue though. So you talk
Yeah.
working with the Department of Transportation to
Yes.
increase
Yes.
funding.
Everywhere. We need it for everywhere. We need to be connected. They stopped doing that, but I don't know. There's so much that needs to be done. It's hard. It's hard to choose. But with the money out of politics, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I forget. That's my main one because it's just
So
common. But
we have a guy in the chat, Jason, who he's on a lot of chats with us. Do you know Corey Hagberg from Rockford?
oh, I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't know.
that's
I know a lot of people now. Like it's
uh, hey Jason, how you doing? So, all
well, yeah.
right, I'm going to give you the last. I'm going to give you the last. This is it. This is the tell everybody where they can find you, your campaign website, how to get a hold of you, and I want a final statement from you on why you are the right person to take on the elite in DC.
All right. So you can find me at Soup for Change. That's SOUP for change. Or I think Shelby Campbell for Congress because I needed to be fancy. Um, what else was it and how why I'm the best? Because I know what it's like to work. I worked two jobs at 17. I know what it's like to survive and struggle and just want to get out of your house because you didn't have the best childhood. So, and it's not, we just need love. We really, really, really need love. And that's what a lot of us are missing. So I just want to make the world a better place for the kids because nobody cares about them. So,
And they can find you on Substack House.
oh, good. God, I don't know. I don't know, guys. You can find
I'm
me. I think
at
you can
Shelby
find,
Campbell on
is
Substack.
it,
What
is
you need to
it?
do is you have to set up your website on your Substack page so people can find you. If they want
Okay.
your campaign, if they want to help volunteer. Listen, Shelby needs our help, everybody. She's a strong progressive. We gotta get her elected.
Yes, I
So
just need some back. I need some backing so that I can have more confidence to go places. It's just me, myself, and I a lot of the time. But
but that's you know what? That's okay.
hmm I think they respect it.
I think people, and thanks for opening up and thanks for doing this with me today. We'll certainly get you on again in a couple weeks, and
Okay.
maybe Walker and I will tag team one with you.
All right. Yeah, I need to
You
charge my phone before so that I'm not holding it like that.
we gotta get you a little stand.
I know. I
Gotta get
had one. It broke.
maybe you gotta get a new maybe one that has a little kickstand on the bottom. You
Yeah,
know,
something, something.
yeah. Anyway, I appreciate everybody being on. Thank you so much for joining. Shelby Campbell, Michigan 13, Democratic candidate for Congress.
Yes.
Shelby, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You're a blast. And everybody, you can follow me here at Substack at Dr. Lullove. You can find me on Blue Ant Media. And everybody have a great freaking day. I'll be on next on Thursday on the Diogenes Club with Nick, Walter, and Evan. God willing, Evan actually shows up this week. And I'm going to be in and out because I'm going to be in Charlotte at a conference. So I'm going to do what I got to do. But thanks so much for joining everybody. And again, soup for
Change.
change.com and shelbycongress.com. And you can follow Shelby Campbell here on Substack at Shelly Campbell
Yes.
with literally two L's. No, I'm just kidding. With one L. Shelby, Elui Campbell,
Yes.
two L's at the end. So everybody, thanks
Yes.
for joining. Everybody have a great rest of Monday and open up the fucking Strait of Hormuz. God damn it.
Oh my. Right back.